My name is Shane Cofield, and I am going to be discussing my wrongful dismissal from Portland Fashion Institute by going over the evidence with you and telling you what happened while presenting you with the evidence proving what happened at the same time. At any point during the videos, I go too fast for you to read the evidence because I will be just summarily explaining long emails. You can pause the video and read it yourself, or you can ask me for a copy of the evidence yourself, which I can provide evidence for everything. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the key players involved because what is happening is very complicated, so I wanted to explain to you who everyone is. The first players are Portland Fashion Institute. It is a fashion design school in Portland, Oregon. The owner of the school is named Sharon Blair. Her email is right there. That's all I have for contact information for her. The second person at the school who is a key player is Candice Freedman. She is the school registrar. And so we have that. Now, here's where it starts to get confusing. So I am a 100% disabled veteran, and I was going to school using Veterans Vocational Rehabilitation Training. My Veterans Voc Rehab counselor's name is Mia Athanas. Well, that is her contact information. Now, Kevin Clayton is Mia Athanas's boss. And that's actually the first time he's ever left his phone number. Probably a mistake, because it's right there now. All right. So what happened was, as I said, I was using Veterans Vocational Rehabilitation to pay for my school. And the school attending Portland Fashion Institute. I filed a complaint against the school registrar, Candice Freedman, for unprofessional conduct. And the very next day, after I had been on summer vacation for 8 days, the school registrar filed a complaint to Veterans Vocational Rehabilitation saying I was carrying a knife that was a deadly weapon that was against the school's weapons policy, and that I was mentally unstable and threatening students and teachers with a knife. Now, let's talk about that knife first. The first thing I want to say is I carried that knife to school with me every single day for 5 terms, and it had never been an issue with any student or teacher before. It's a fashion design school. So the next point I want to make, it's a fashion design school, and every single student comes to class with knives, scalpels, super sharp scissors, cutting tools that are like pizza cutters, except that are razor blades, box cutters, etc. And before this complaint was filed against me, there was never any policy limiting what we could or could not bring to school. On top of that, my knife is 100% legal. Based off the Oregon state laws, based off how I carry it. I'll cover more later. But one of the reasons why I'm disabled is because I had a traumatic head injury, and it caused severe memory issues. My memory's so bad that I don't remember being a child. Literally, almost all of my memories of my childhood were erased. When my memory was at its worst, I couldn't remember a 1-digit number for more than a few seconds before I would forget it, because I would get distracted by some sort of stimuli. So I've come a long ways since then, but I still have memory issues and I still forget things. And so when we're at school, like, everybody uses sharp tools to cut cut their fabric. This is not uncommon. Every single student does this every single day. Like, me having my knife was never an issue. I had it for 5 terms, and it wasn't until after 5 terms and after I filed a complaint that my knife was an issue. So the thing about my knife is I use it as a disability accessory, because when I move from workstation to workstation in the classrooms, if I forget my cutting tools, I always have my knife with me, because my knife never leaves my pocket, ever, unless it's being used as a tool, period. I don't leave it on the table. I don't play with it. I don't fondle it. I don't even look at it. I don't think about it unless I forget my cutting tools when I move from station to station. Now, the thing about this is me using my knife is more of a convenience for the other students than it is for me, because my knife is so dull. Now, I say that because if you look at the layout of the classroom, now, if you can see, this is the entrance, and you walk in, and here's the classroom right here. Right here, there's a cutting table and an ironing table, and then there's me right here, table 5. And yes, this size contrast is accurate. I had the smallest table in the room, by my choosing. So I'm not trying to say anything about that. But when I had to walk to the workstation over here, or to work around at the cutting table over here, I had to bump into people. So if I forgot my cutting tools at this workstation, I would rather go grab my own sharp tools if nobody's in my way than use my knife, just because my knife's so dull and my other cutting tools are so sharp and so nice. Like, they're better, like, at least for this kind of work. And so if I forget my tools, I have to inconvenience all these other students along here or along here just because of my memory issues. So, because my knife never leaves my pocket unless it's being used as a tool, it accommodates my memory issues, and it prevents me from inconveniencing other students. That is why I used it, because if the students weren't not in the way, I would go grab my own cutting tools, because I used the knife so rarely. Like, I literally used it so infrequently that it hardly ever left my pocket. It was in my pocket 99.99% of the time. Now, this is how I carried it right here. Open carry. Now, the reason why I carried it open carry is because it's based off the laws of Oregon. So Oregon laws regarding my specific knife. It's an automatic blade knife because it's operated by either a slide, switch, or button release mechanism, and a blade ejects out of the handle. And so it is legal to own and carry these knives as long as you open carry them, because open carry is perfectly legal. Now, what is illegal? It is illegal to conceal carry any of these knives. So if that wasn't exposed right there, then me carrying this knife would be illegal. So me showing the knife is simply because I'm obeying the laws, or else I would put it in my pocket, because I would rather not have the conflict. But in order for me to follow the laws, that was how much of my knife was exposed. That's how much they're saying was threatening. Now, this is not proof that there's no weapons policy for the school. That comes in another video. But this is just an example that on the required gear list that the school requires us to bring sharp things. All right, here, a utility knife. In this situation, my knife would have worked perfectly for this material and for this class, and I probably would have used it, like, had this not happened. Simply because, like, my knife would have been perfect for this class. Like, but they say that you should bring a utility knife to this class because it's a knife that's sharp enough to cut through the fabric. Because, like I said, we have to cut fabric in the class, in the school. So we use cutting tools every single day. So me having a knife, it was not out of the ordinary whatsoever. It was not threatening. Not a single student or teacher has ever said anything to me about my knife other than they thought it was cool. Beyond that, not a single word has ever been said to me about this knife until I filed a complaint against the school registrar at Portland Fashion Institute for unprofessional conduct. And then the very next day, after I had been on summer vacation for 8 days, she tells the Veterans Vocational Rehab that I am mentally unstable and threatening students with a deadly weapon, a knife, that was against the school's weapons policy. But at the time, the school did not have a weapons policy, and I'm about to show you that now.